Breaking news as we are live on Chat Sports NFL Daily. The Philadelphia Eagles are trading Joe Flacco to the Jets. Yes, that team is not a mishearing or a misspeak, whatever. Joe Flacco is on his way back to New York as he will reunite with the Jets because they have lost Zach Wilson for a couple of weeks. So Philadelphia, who had added Flacco, now ships him off back to the Jets. There are some more moving pieces that we'll break down here in a little bit. But Flacco's time in Philly is done, and he's going back to New York, and I think has a very real chance to start right away. Here are the exact trade details in this one. The Jets, of course, get Joe Flacco, the quarterback. The Eagles are getting a 6th-round conditional pick, a 2022 pick to be exact. That can be boosted up to a 5th-rounder based on playing time. My suspicion, and this is speculation on my part, no guarantees, but this is just my guess here, is that Flacco will not end up making that. He will not end up playing enough to make it be a 5th-round pick because if you're the Jets, let's be real, you're not making the playoffs with Joe Flacco. You weren't going to make the playoffs regardless of who your quarterback was. We saw plenty of Joe Flacco last year with the Jets. In 5 games, he completed a meager 55.2% of his passes, a career low, by the way, and admittedly only 4 starts, which he went 0-4 in the 5 games total. 864 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 INTs. Flacco had spent the majority of his career with the Baltimore Ravens from 2008 to 2018. Then, they got this guy named Lamar Jackson, and he ended up being their franchise quarterback, much better. He goes to Denver for a singular year. He starts 8 games there, goes 2-6, not very good, and wasn't much better in the end with the Jets either. So I'm not overly surprised that the Eagles made a trade. We'll break down the addition of Reid Sinnett here in a little bit. I expected this could end up being the case here. Then it was going to be Flacco. But Flacco on his way out keeps the Eagles at 3 quarterbacks. And I'll give Philly credit. You sign Joe Flacco for very little, and now you end up getting a nice pick. It's a late day 3 pick, but Flacco wasn't a long-term part of your organization. I like this move quite a bit here from Philly. Again, the details are Joe Flacco heads to the New York Jets. The Eagles get a 6th-round pick that is a conditional 6th-round pick. It can be worth up to a 5th-rounder based on playing time. Now, my suspicion, as I mentioned, is that that pick is not going to convey that the Jets will make sure of it, that he ends up not playing for them. It's a bit intriguing since there is a new coaching staff now in New York versus when they went out and brought in Joe Flacco the first time around. Clearly, the organization liked him since there is some of that same front office members. The system, we'll see if it ends up being similar enough. There was a little bit of overlap style-wise, his brief time in Denver versus this new Niners coaching staff. But what do you guys think? Who won the trade? This will be the pinned comment on this video. So get your votes in. E for the Eagles or J for the Jets. Now, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, somewhere in that time frame before the Eagles shipped out Joe Flacco, they also claimed Reid Sinnett off of waivers from the Miami Dolphins. And my first thought was, somebody's getting moved. Because teams don't carry 4 quarterbacks. Obviously, the Philadelphia is not going to trade away Jalen Hurts. That was not really in the cards. But with Flacco as the quarterback too, I had wondered if maybe Gardner Minshew could end up being the guy that ends up getting shipped out of Philadelphia because he had been inactive. Joe Flacco had been operating as the team's backup quarterback, and after giving up a very limited amount of money for or draft capital for him, it's almost a 1-to-1 swap. What you give up for Minshew, you're getting back for Flacco. That's a bit nice win there for Philly. Minshew, Gardner Minshew, everyone's favorite mustached. Is that phrase right? Mustached? Yeah, we'll allow it. He now becomes the backup quarterback in Philadelphia. Maybe favorite quarterback with a mullet from that one. So it's an intriguing move by the Jets. Is pretty interesting. From the Philly side, frankly, I like it quite a bit. You didn't need Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco wasn't a long-term or even a short-term part of your organization. So to save a little bit of money here and get a draft pick, anything, in the end, I think is good value. You might have even upgraded, if Minshew's up to speed, at the backup quarterback position. I think Minshew could end up being a good option for you in terms of being that QB2 behind Jalen Hurts, who I still think will play plenty. We'll check in later on in the year, see how that's going as it relates to Minshew getting a chance to start for Philly. Now, we here at Chat Sports, I think, my mom thinks too, have the best NFL videos on the internet. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the Chat Sports YouTube channel at youtube.com/chatsportstv. And Eagles fans, we have an Eagles channel for you guys as well. youtube.com/Eagles now. That link right there, bottom of your screen. The Eagles are not the best team, at least so far this year. They still might finish second in the NFC East, but tons of draft capital, intriguing options. They've got the possibility to make some noise in the near future, and we are a 365 company. So if you want daily videos for free, hit that big red button and subscribe. Jeremy Chugs, one of our Eagles fans, did not like that part. I'm sorry. Eagles haven't been good, at least not yet. Now, the reason why the Jets ended up making this trade was because of the Zach Wilson injury. And this team at quarterback, the Jets, I should say, it's not good. It is not a good situation at the quarterback spot. Without Zach Wilson, the clear-cut franchise quarterback, they hope, they were forced to go with Mike White, who entering last week's game for the Jets hadn't thrown an NFL pass. The reason why the Jets make this trade, and maybe it's some level of admission of oops, we messed up, is I do think Flacco will be a nice mentor for Zach Wilson, good veteran presence at this point in his career, but also, if Zach Wilson went down, you couldn't keep playing Mike White anymore. That dude's just not good. He is maybe a top 70 quarterback in the NFL, and there's a pretty big tier gap involved there. So getting Flacco does help the Jets, I think, short-term, fielding a more competitive-ish team and seeing what your young guys can do. Because what I think the Jets were about to risk was the quarterback play being so limiting, so constricting, that it was going to make it tough on them to evaluate their other players. Like, it's tough to ID how good your receivers are if the quarterback's really bad. So I think that's a big reason why they made this move for the short term, and I do think Flacco will represent a better veteran presence and hopefully some good menteeing and mentorship ability for Zach Wilson in the rest of the year. Wilson, we'll see if he ends up going on IR or not. Let's move a late day 3 pick. I mean, you always want to keep your picks if you're a team like New York, but they like to wheel and deal. They can trade down if they need to. So what do you guys think? Do you like the Joe Flacco trade? Type Y for yes, you do, or type in N for no, you do not.